Hi there, folks. You'll be pleased to know I've upgraded my mic and will speak louder. We're back for another 45 big game with Saucy while he's on his in-between years studying. So I'm bidding 2 USSR. I know that he bids 1 in the hopes that he gets 2 USA, and that's fine by me. I'll go into it in a second. So his argument is he'll bid USSR 1 in the hopes that the other person bids USSR 2, and then they get USA plus 2. That's fine by me, because I think 2 USA is about right. I mean, I don't think 1 is. I think if I was to get 1, I would be very unhappy and probably lose. So, well, we've already seen me lose with him as USA plus 2, so let's go with that. But I think we all knew that was what was going to happen. I'm going to open De Gaulle and duck and cover and just hope not to be purged or defected. We will see how that goes. I mean, even purged isn't the end of the world if De Gaulle and duck and cover kicks in. So anyway, there will be trash talking. We seem to have quite a lot of fun. Obviously, Middle East talking in my hand is nice as well, because if DEFCON does get to 2, I can always trigger NASA and hope to try and break even there. But trying to sew up France is always important, so De Gaulle plus duck and cover is a very attractive first move. I'll see if I can dump CIA before any influence shows up elsewhere in the DEFCON 2 zones. Obviously, being able to 5-year plan it is even more of a bonus. And we'll see about Korean War. If he fills it up unprotected, it's definitely worth trying to play to flip it. Otherwise, I should be trying to pick that up myself. So anyway, yes, apologies that the last feed was quite quiet. I'll go a little bit more Brian Blessed in my vocal intonations, and I've changed headsets to one with a much closer mic, which should do the job. But I'm now going to take a drink of water, and you'll probably hear that painfully loudly. So unless Sophie's got Saucy, sorry, has Marshall Plan. So assuming he hasn't got Marshall Plan, I'd expect 442. You might be chewing it over because he's got Marshall Plan, but in that case, you just open 3-2-2 West Germany, France, Italy. Last chance, Z's made the point on the Reddit forum that the days of trying to take non-battlegrounds in Europe is a complete waste of time and you've got to fight for France. Yes, even if Suez and De Gaulle are unaccounted for. So it looks like Marshall Plan after all. I can still... I mean, that's fine by me, because now I know if he's opening it, I can trigger De Gaulle and duck and cover. So that works fine for me. So De Gaulle and duck and cover will be my AR1 move. There it is. So even if he puts another one in there, duck and cover will take it and drop DEFCON. Then it becomes a little problematic with US-Japan Defense Pact and Korean War in my hand. Ideally, I want to be cooing Iran to drop DEFCON as well. So that's a little problematic. I mean, so what I normally do with US-Japan, if I can't play it, is to play 4 into South Korea, thereby taking 1 for 1. But the no-brainer AR1 move after De Gaulle is duck and cover. So we'll do that, and we'll make France competitive. I obviously want to make sure I add at least 1 more into that by the end of the turn in order to prevent breaking and Truman doctrining. So we'll see what his next move is. Okay, while there's no independent reds, I will keep out of those zones. So he's keeping DEFCON reasonably high just now. Yeah, so he's pushing into Asia. So this is somewhat problematic for me. I've got Middle East scoring. I suppose, actually, at this point, the more attractive thing to do is to ditch Middle East scoring with 5-year plan, which works if DEFCON is high and CI created comes along as well. So, I, at this point, will not compete for Middle Eastern scoring. I will do the old give him Japan, I take Korea switcheroo. It's somewhat unappealing, but it'll do. With Korean War, I might put one in South Korea and one in France to overprotect both. So what's he thinking? He's threatening Middle East, but he doesn't know I'm holding it. He's walking into Asia because I gave him the chance by taking France. But if we keep DEFCON high, I might be able to coup a target somewhere around Thailand if he gets sloppy. Another option with Korean War is to push into Afghanistan and force him to take it. So he's going into overprotection, still not knowing I'm holding it. So I will overprotect those. I mean, I suppose I can use 5-year plan to threaten a race in Europe, but he's not overly troubled by that, because he's now got Marshall Plan in Turkey and Spain. He's always going to beat me on country count for the short term. So I'm going to disappoint him at this point. I want to see what he does with it first, basically, because obviously I can... He may use it to... He probably won't use it here in Malaysia because of DEFCON being 4. He might push into Libya, but that makes it a couable target. One in Iraq seems like a sanguine option, or Canada, Spain, Turkey, or even Panama, knowing that I can then coup somewhere else. But he drops DEFCON himself, so I will also drop DEFCON further. And I don't get a lucky roll. That's fine. The CIA's gone. He knows that I'm 5-year planning the Middle East. He does now get to push into Asia a little more hard, which is a little troubling. So he'll be looking for independent Reds at some point. I'll trigger NASA, which gives me some access to the Middle East later on. I just need to remember to get into Libya before Sadat comes along and cuts me out entirely. Unless he spends 4 ops, he's not going to get domination of... he's captured Naziing for the space race. I 5-year plan Middle Eastern scoring. And with Europe currently in domination, I think the best things to do are probably threaten Pakistan myself and put a move on Libya. Now that I've got... That gives me the most options. Okay, anyway. We'll see what he says to that. He may move into Libya, he may move into Afghanistan, or he might neutralise Europe. Which would probably be his most attractive thing. He may have to play Asia scoring now, which would be fine for me. I expect him to do something to neutralise Europe, but with socialist governments still to come out amongst others. Yeah, so both directions, as expected. Europe scoring is there. So if I score Europe, I'm giving him the coup. which will probably be Libya. But I can... Yeah, so my thoughts are if I de-style, I can move Finland's into Austria to get domination, and move some other influence over here to threaten flipping with the China card, because then he needs to show up and then I get the coup. But then I'm using D-style less in other areas with attractiveness. I do at least have access to Algeria. Defectors is a concern, but I've got to be scoring for domination, and with Middle East being problematic, but gone at least. I think I want to be taking Europe. Defectors will be a bummer here, I think, but I'm going to run with it. And it's defected. That's a terrible shame. So, at this point, I guess I take... I can offer him the coup, I suppose. So that doesn't work. I just wanted to... Yeah, Indo-Pakistani war is still out, so that's a little problematic. Alright, so threaten Europe and make him decide if it's just a bluff or if he wants to riposte. An ops race in Europe, for me to score, stops his tempo in Asia, at least. If he's got Asia scoring, he'll fill in Pakistan now, and then I can score Europe and he scores Asia, which is a bit of a wash. So he overprotects that. So my next thing is to end Finland, and then I can obviously play Truman Doctrine for no loss, as it were. I make sure I play Truman before Eastern European unrest if I do. We'll see if he plays Asia scoring now for domination. If I can try and persuade him to keep DEFCON high, that might make Thailand a coup target on 3, but that seems unlikely. So he's ditching blockade, he'll be putting one in Canada. Which leaves me in the quandary. So I'm going to... Yeah, I'll coup with Truman. I'm not sure I'm over the moon about it. It gets Truman off the board, at least. But it means that he's going to be scoring Asia pretty high. And I'll only get a point for Europe. So he's definitely in the box seat just now. So now I can play Eastern European unrest to take some targets in the Middle East. Without fear of Truman. And obviously knowing that I'm not going to get Europe for domination. I'd like to space independent Reds really, but playing containment on AR6 is helpful too. Well, it's been Saucy's Early War again. Feedback very welcome. Did I not fight for Asia hard enough? Amongst other things. Yeah, so I'm happy to take even more out of France there. Because that won't... Yeah, so the overprotection doesn't alter the balance of power there. So I'll pitch Europe for the point. And in AR6 I might put one into Pakistan in case I get into Pakistani war or threaten to move into India if I see it go. I need to try and walk through Asia at some point. Unless I get Vietnam revolts and can flip Thailand as well. Now he's spacing it. That's very sensible given his situation. I'm going to hold on to containment and probably play it in the next AR6. And just go for us. Oh, well, no. You're right. I think I'm going to push one into Pakistan as a threat. I know it's dangerous. Maybe I could dominate the Middle East, which gives him something to think about as well. So we'll do that. If I'm lucky, Vietnam comes back in the reshuffle and I can headline it. Or Indo-Pakistani war comes to me and I can try and flip Pakistan at a minor disadvantage. But Asia's a little ugly right now. And obviously with Marshall Plan coming along, Europe's not as great as it could be. And getting defected for D-Style was probably a foreseeable thing. Was it a risk worth taking? Please let me know what you think. Okay, so he's taking Saudi, which is, I mean, that's a lot of ops that Muslim Revolution can take off him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So unfortunately, Warsaw Pact will not allow me to claim domination in Europe. Coming straight back. What we might do is headline the Cambridge 5 to see if Asia or Middle East has come back. Although defectors came and went. So decol to pick up country count. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. I think I'm going to play decol. And again, hope not to be defected, which would be glorious. Let me know what you think. That's twice in the early war I've headlined decol or D-Style. The first time was a much bigger gamble, I think. Okay, I'm being purged, which is not ideal. But at least I can bring the country count down. Now, with purge, can I flip or not? No, I can't. I didn't think I could. So, I get to Burma first. So, the other one I'll put there. I'm going to coup Panama to try and get some access into mid-war venues. And I do. That's a bonus. Alright, so he's going to run up the country count Asia if he has Asia scoring. If and only if. Because he'll take Malaysia and Pakistan and Philippines quickly, if that's the case. He'll do something in the Middle East if he's got Middle Eastern scoring. The thing is, Israel's a bit of a tough race for him, and I have Arab-Israeli war, which is attractive if he doesn't also take Jordan. Okay, so he is going country count, and 3 is more than I can fight against without handing him the China card. So, what I might do is Cambridge 5M and put one into Japan to delay the inevitable. And he doesn't have Asia, which is useful for me to know. So I now put one into Israel. And he immediately dumps it, seeing the way the wind is blowing. I'm going to play Europe scoring because I can't space independent reds. Because of the purge, I'm going to have to UN intervention independent reds, which is a shame, but then I guess it's nice for We Will Bury You knowing that UN intervention has gone in the shuffle. But Asia's a little ugly. So I'll use Warsaw Pact now to shore up Algeria and push into Zaire. So it's been his early war, not as much as it was the previous game at least. So he's taking Mexico against Panama, which is sensible. So I'll put one into Burma to threaten India. We still haven't seen Indo-Pakistani war, so we know he's holding it. But he may push into India knowing I have the China card, and I'm afraid to use it. I would expect him to see him go into India here. And he does. So I'll put my last point into Burma as well, mostly against Southeast Asia, because we're now 50-50. But he's up to 8 countries, so something's going to have to flip in order to prevent Asia from becoming another scoring coup for him. So anyway, looks like we're going to finish level pegging on score, but really that means he's going for points. He'll go Pakistan. He gets the points and the Milops. So that's nice for him. Good early war. Southeast Asia comes out. Vietnam revolts isn't going to do enough to flip Thailand as it stands. Have an awful lot of... So let's think. Panama and OAS I don't really like. Might try and hold, which makes those 8 my play cards. Southeast Asia scoring for net 0. Brezhnev Doctrine allows me to space one of the ones. And then I can hold Bear Trap. Of course, he might missile envy me for Bear Trap, which would suck. But he's only going to do that if he doesn't know I've got We Will Bury, although he's seen Duck and Cover come out. A lot of options. I think, given my op count, I'm going to have to headline Brezhnev Doctrine. So let's see where he pulls these from. Africa would be the obvious target. But the allure of Voice of America is you can just pull them from anywhere, as suits your purpose. Yeah, so Africa, deny access. One in North Korea. So the questions are, do I hand him a coup? I mean, I've got the China card to push back into North Korea if I need to, so I think I'm just going to coup. I've got access to Algeria, but I need some presence. I mean, I'd like to do Mexico ordinarily, and I fail. So Africa's... I mean, the thing is, he can't control Nigeria without pushing in both ways, so I should have a chance to make some trouble for him. One hopes. We'll see Asia scoring come fairly quickly if he's holding it. So I'll be spacing Panama or OAS. So he's giving me the point for Cultural Revolution as quickly as possible. And we'll see where he heads. Yeah, Africa. And into North Korea. But I'll use Summit, obviously. Sorry, Brezhnev Doctrine. I will use Summit to take North Korea. Just to stop him pissing around there. So I'm going to have to play John Paul with all my other space options. And just be ready to shore up against Solidarity. Because I'm obviously not in a position where I can space 2 cards at a time. So he's going for a very quick and dirty presence-less domination. Which does split my focus, because I can kind of have to put one into Algeria and one into Tunisia, which means using the China card to have any way of fighting back against that. I'm going to call his bluff on him not having Africa. And space instead. But it's very much looking like his game with Asia and Africa the way things are. The old jab in the stomach from afar. So I'm pretty much of the position to give him Southeast Asia now. I mean, give us, it's 50-50. I mean, I'd like to be scoring. Oh boy, Saucy's off to a storming start. Okay, he should go straight in for realignments here. So I'll be giving him coup targets if he doesn't. And straight out. I mean, that's neat. That's one of the joys of having the tempo, as that country count doesn't do a lot for me. So what I want to do is put all three in and overprotect it. Apologies now, because of the undoing, you're going to have an artifact. This is one of the weird things about undoing on Twilight Struggle. If you undo while it's resolving, it just sits there. So yes, a nice little artifact for you all to enjoy. So, again, the unpalatable option is to hand over the China card to keep Bear Trap and Panama as my two hold cards. It's unpalatable in one way, but I mean, Asia's already pretty sewn up for him, so with Asuri and all. What I probably want to do is overprotect North and South Korea. We've seen Indo-Pak War go, so another option is to pump a couple into India and see if I can flip it and make it 3-3. Put him under some pressure. If he's got any sense, he'll put straight back in there. And so he will. Yeah. Panama's an attractive brush wall target, but again, I can't really do a lot there without threatening a coup target amongst other problems. So do I pressure India, knowing he's got the China card afterwards? What I'll do is I'll threaten Thailand, make it 3-3. I mean, again, inevitably he's going to put back in there. And Asura is fine anyway. But I need to be doing something to try and level off Asia. Although if I take it in AR, one Africa's his, so he's still scoring one of the two minimum for domination. And he's kept some ops. So he'll shore up and he'll cause an AR7 crisis. Probably one in Cameroon and one in... Yeah, classic. Oh, just the one. Okay, so I mean my coup target is Zaire. Especially since that's come up. So how best to play the hand? Because I get multiple coup targets. In Africa. I can start... I mean, I suppose it's... I can get presents if I ABM treaty for Thailand at DEFCON 4 and then coup Zaire at DEFCON 3. And then I've also got Brush War as an option later on. I mean, I'm lucky to get Brush War because Panama's a pretty soft Brush War target just now. The other reason to play ABM treaty is that if he missile envies me, I can always give him Arse Not or something. So I think I'm going to do that. And he's gone Asuri. So let's do a big old coup of Thailand and make him go on the back foot. Ah, that's nice. So he'll put in North Korea and South Korea, I assume. Because he wants to be... Or they can put two in Thailand if he wants to threaten to flip it with the China card as well. But no, he's just going straight forward. Whoa! Sorry about that. What's going on? Okay. So I do have to... I mean, whether I like it or not, I've really got to coup Africa to get some access. And because NORAD's not out and Purge is gone, I'm going to coup with Quagmire and keep it in the deck, hopefully for later on, maybe even turn 10. So he's probably going to use the China card to push Asia up. He may move into Nigeria as well. My next job is to try in 3-3 Asia. So he probably tried taking North Korea. The extra point neighbouring. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7. The other better might